Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Old Reader, New Reader, and welcome back to Joe.
What's up, guys? we started the show a little early because we were just super excited to talk about that.
I'm so excited to talk. It's only like 5 issues because volume 1 of this it's a pretty thin. But man, I took my time with it.
I definitely reread a few issues just to get it down. Not that it was an overly complicated story, but it was just I just wanted to see if there was any nuggets that I might have missed.
Yeah.
And just looking at Dan Mora's art over and over doesn't hurt. So
such a treat. It's such I took the Just jacket off, but because it
that was a variant cover, right?
Yeah.
I think I saw Omar's video showing that off.
Yeah, so the cover actually, with the dust jacket is Dan Mora's art, but that is another room, and I'm not gonna let you guys see the bottom half of my body for free. I exist like this to everybody here, so
perfect.
I'd find that somewhere else. Anyways, hey guys, good to see everybody. Sean, it was a good book. Official Scott Stapp, always here. Let me tell you, Scott Stapp, I saw some very cool signed Creed posters this weekend. Gabby.
Oh, I know this person.
I've heard of her before.
Yeah, me too.
Got Joshua, we got James, we got GT Key Comic. Hello, everybody. We are talking about Batman / Superman World's Finest, Volume 1 by Mark Waid and Dan Mora. I've never had the pleasure of meeting Dan Mora. I'd like to fix that, but I have met Dark Waid. What if Dark Waid is Mark Waid's evil twin? Somebody's made that joke. They've had to.
I'm sure it's happened before.
I did get to interview Mark Waid back in the early days.
Did you?
Of me doing this, yeah. It was right before Kristen's wedding, and so we called him her Waid of Honor, which is pretty cute. So early Fangirls Assemble days. I guess 4 or 5 years ago now.
I gotta find that video. Is that video still up somewhere?
We used to do, it's on Omnibus Collectors Network. We used to do interviews, and then I think you've heard me talk about it probably, but that is not my bag. I enjoyed the few that we had. Right. I don't want to do them ever.
They look stressful.
It's too stressful.
Yeah, a little bit, because you don't know what kind of temperament the person you're interviewing is.
Yeah, I'd rather they hang out like this. I invite them as a guest. We talk about a book, and then they can talk about however they want. Instead of me being like, so what's it like?
Right.
What's your advice to people trying to get into comics? Come on. They've had that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways.
Yes.
Talking about this. So people at home, I wish I had this jacket in here now. If you are not up to date on DC, as Joe and I aren't really. I mean, I kind of pop in and out as it suits me. Because after I was in for Rebirth, once things changed, it kind of took a dive that didn't work for me. I'm a more positive DC fan and not now we're edgy. Not that I don't like those books. It just it lost me a little bit.
Okay.
The reason why I bring this up is like the last book Joe and I read, you do not have to be caught up on. This is more of an Elseworlds deal. This is more of a retelling. So with Batman Superman, we're going back in time, when Robin is the only Robin.
Right.
That's where we are. You get to see kind of the earlier points of Batman and Superman becoming friends. It has a focus on that relationship, and you see younger versions of everyone. So it's new reader friendly.
Yep.
What a choice. What a choice of words, Gabby.
Yeah.
Love it.
No, it's definitely it's like you, Maddie, just to jump on what you said in terms of just DC for me being a little bit all over the place with Rebirth and then New 52, and there was just so many restarts, reboots that it was so hard to. I mean, they made it easy for you to jump in, but then you hear things of this is not really the real Superman. This is and it's such a weird time to just jump into anything DC. And this starts with saying that this is in the not so distant past. And it's okay, sweet. This is where it's going to jump into the relationship with Batman and Superman. And, it's Mark Waid, who knows how to write good superhero stuff.
Oh, absolutely. Mark Waid, And I'm such a fan of his for a lot of reasons. One, as you and I discussed before we started the show, he is a fan.
Yes.
Like, you know, some people are, I mean, people get into comics probably because they are fans, but you can tell the people that are really like genuinely fans and have their like finger on the pulse that really understand these characters. And Mark's one of those. And anytime he writes any of the big two comics, his characterization choices feel so genuine.
Right.
And I really appreciate them. I do want to show some art real quick.
Show that Dan Mora off.
There we go. I mean, Dan Mora he's the one. Like, just even the facial, I can't tell where anything is. The facial expressions on these pages are so good. His art's always perfect.
If he could just draw all the superhero stuff, I sign me up for all of it.
Just if we could be so lucky.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna be hard. I wish I could just show every picture, like every page always. But even from the jump, you know, we get this situation where Poison Ivy is in Metropolis, and so Superman's going to fight her. Also, Batman and Robin are there as well. We get some Metallo, and already just the color work, the lines, everything is just so perfect. Right. It just feels like when you first get into comic books for the first time. Yeah. And you get that little, like, the joy of it. It just feels so nostalgic for me.
Like I said before the show went on the air, it felt like when I was reading comics in the 90s, like the first issue just opens up with all this cast of characters, like you said, Poison Ivy, Metallo, Batman, Robin, Superman. It's like, whoa, what's happening here? And it definitely felt like just 90s superhero fun that didn't have to be too dark, too edgy, too gritty. It's just like, hey, let's just have a blast with these characters. Yeah. I'm going to keep saying artwork is fantastic because it is.
Mark!
Hi, Mark, what's up? But yeah, it's very, that's what it felt like to me reading comics back in the day.
Yeah, and it's great because even though it is like, especially in here, we'll get to the story in a second. We'll have to jump around with this because I'm just excited about it. Even though it does feel overall more like optimistic and fun, you know, there's still heavier moments in this. There's the stakes are still up. There is the stakes are high throughout this book, but I just felt such a genuine camaraderie between everyone, especially of course Batman Superman. What's a World's Finest for if you're not a big DC fan, when they do World's Finest, that typically means Batman Superman. Sometimes that means either like maybe like Supergirl and Batgirl, you know, that kind of like situation. But it focuses on their friendship in particular, which is always something that I really appreciate.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's so touching. Like their friendship. I like when we get to see that. It's just really sweet.
Yeah, and also to jump on what you said, in terms of it not being, yes, it is a superhero story. There are some dramatic moments. But there's some fun moments. Robin could be very hilarious, especially in the first couple issues. And so Mark Waid could do that all. He could hit a dramatic beat, a comedic beat.
Yeah.
He's got it. So.
And Dan Mora perfectly does that with his art and his facial expressions. Not every comic artist can do that.
No.
They really can't. And that's okay. You don't always need that. But man, if you want to really show every range of emotion in a superhero comic, Dan Mora is your guy.
Absolutely. The scene in the issue where Superman gets the syringe to his chest, the way Dan Mora drew Superman yelling, you could actually, it's like, it's kryptonite going into his chest. He needs to look like that.
It's so good. So, story beat wise, we're introduced to a new villain here, new to DC Comics, from what I understand. I don't know if they've used him before, but not new to overall mythology. This is a deity from Chinese folklore. I say Chinese folklore. I did look it up before here. Technically, Ne Zha, that's his name, Ne Zha, is based on two figures from Hindu mythology. But the overall story is ended up being evolving and through Chinese mythology. There's a few like movies about Ne Zha, but they use him in this. Now I don't know enough about him to know like his origin in Chinese mythology. But in here, it was pretty cool. Like they go into it, the background for him, where Neja, his father, I think it was like Li Jing or something.
Yeah.
He was this like praised general, but he couldn't prevent his son from dying. And so then he just dedicated the rest of his life to figure out how to bring his son back to life.
That's all that mattered to him, yeah.
That's it. He killed tons of people. He used all of his money. He did all these things to try to figure out, and it still didn't work. And then he ends up living his life in poverty, almost as like a monk, basically, until one day this magician, it says the magician, so I don't know if it's like the magician as far as DC folklore, you know what I mean? Like the wizard, takes pity on him and gives him the elixir to immortality to give to his son, Neja. And when Neja comes back, he's like, wait a second.
I didn't see that coming.
I did not come back to life to live in poverty and see my dad like basically bow down to all these people, and he kills his dad, and then ends up being immortal. This like turns into this demon, almost kind of Triton-esque in a way, because he has like the devil horns.
I love his look. His look is
very cool. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick.
It looks like Akuma from Street Fighter.
Yeah. So there we go. We have I can't. It's reversed here on my side. Yeah. We have the Devil Neja right here. Very cool. Let me see if I can show a picture before that. But they when they show the background, Dan Moore takes more of a like traditional art style in here to like show you that it's more of a like folklore Chinese history sort of deal. So cool.
Yeah. It was very cool.
So Neja was sealed away, and he's back now in the present time. And he's able to manipulate the minds of others.
Yeah, through possession.
And so he's turning other people against our superheroes here. So he's started to get after like the villains, but then he stopped using villains, going for superheroes instead. So we have this sort of like we have seen mind control before, but this is a little bit different.
Right. And this is why I say it brought me back to when I read comics as a little kid. The first comic I ever read was Fantastic Four 250, which had the Skrulls playing as different heroes. And so you see like heroes battling heroes. This had elements of that where, I mean, I don't mean to jump forward a couple issues.
Jump around. We're fine.
He possesses Green Lantern. And so now you have hero versus hero, villains that you won't normally see in Metropolis showing up, like Poison Ivy.
Yeah.
So it was very fun. It's not, for me, it was 80s, 90s.
Oh, absolutely.
Very
okay.
fun.
Speaking of which, I know we're skipping over the Kryptonite thing. We can go back to it.
Yes.
I want to talk about this right now because this is the most anime thing I've ever read in a comic book. I was reading this and I was like, this feels like, and not everybody in the chat is going to get this reference.
Let's see. Me, I have a feeling James might. No, who knows?
There's this sequence I'm about to describe reminds me a lot of watching Sailor Moon or like Digimon, where you have like this group come together and there's like a almost like fusion transformation deal. And it's so fan servicey, but it worked. It worked for me. I don't know if everybody's at home read this and they liked it. I don't care. This is the most anime thing. I loved it. So I'm about to describe how.
Yes.
Again, this is only the first 5 issues. We do get into spoiler territory here, but
yeah. So if you, there's definitely a look. Before I read this comic, these 5 issues, I remember seeing that artwork for this new being on the internet, and I was like, what is this? And here it is.
Okay, so this is so cool. So at one point, Clark and Batman get captured by Green Lantern, Hal Jordan. He's being controlled by Neja. And they have the bright idea. They're like, okay, I don't think either of us can defeat him separately, but maybe we can together. And they decide, okay, we need to think of one mind here. He's being controlled by someone else, which means that Hal's will is not his own. We need to think together and focus on that ring and focus on our will to get the ring to go off of him and on to one of us. And it does. They think in what, and like if this was an animated movie, you would have some really good like kind of rock music in the background at this point. Rock and orchestral where it's kind of heating up and they're like thinking and there's a blast coming at them. And with the power of their friendship and their will and their courage, the ring comes off Hal Jordan to them. There's a blast. They have combined into one. Batman, Superman with the Green Lantern ring. They are one in the same. They are going to fight against the other controlled superheroes like Red Tornado, Donna Troy, Wally West. And I'll show you a picture. Again, this is the most anime thing.
Yeah. The design is great. I love the design.
It's cool as hell.
Yeah. I wonder if this has ever been done before in DC when it comes to Hal Jordan and Green Lanterns, where yes, will is their biggest thing, but have characters combined to like overpower the will of a lantern. I have no idea.
I don't know, but
I thought it was original.
Can we look at him? Excuse me?
I love the look. I don't know, something about it. I just like it. So
it's so cool. Yeah, exactly, James. Goku and Vegeta fusion. This comic is so awesome. Reading World's Finest and Robin versus Batman made me realize Mark Waid is a fan of Dragon Ball Z. Oh, I think that's apparent. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, because I think what Kyle just hit on, because I think it goes into Robin versus Batman. So I'm curious to read that as well. I gotta check that out.
For sure.
Yeah.
I'll show one more picture because you can see the kind of the back of the costume here as well. The characters, I'd love to like learn more about it. Because you have like someone in the back and the perfect fusion of their colors with like the Green Lantern, but still have the utility belt.
I'm curious. I would love to know Dan Mora's process when he created that look, because I mean it's fantastic.
It's so great because the way they all work together and like they're fighting back against all these people, Martian Manhunter as well, Black Canary, Firestorm.
Yeah.
All these great, like, again, this is very new reader friendly, but if you have been reading, it's just so fun. And I love that, like, because it's the ring, it's the power's finite. I don't have like the you know.
Yeah, I love that.
The lantern nearby. So cool. And then Supergirl, of course, showing up at the end to give like the final punch. And that's of course jumping around, but
I also want to touch a little bit on what Mark mentioned about the interplay of Supergirl and Robin. And this is something that maybe because I don't have that knowledge of DC, were they an item at some point?
Okay, so I do believe they're going to go back to the date.
Okay, gotcha.
So I don't know in the past if they have been a thing. I wasn't aware of that. I always thought it was like just Robin and Babs.
Okay.
But you know, Dick gets around. you know. But yeah, so what I know is there is a cover. I guess it's from one of the later issues. Maybe somebody's already read ahead. We've only read this 5 issues. You read 6. That shows them on that date because at some point.
So I got to read that.
Yeah, I love that cute section because Bruce is like, hey, Robin, I'm gonna need you to go to the past to figure out how they trapped Ninja, right?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Is that also a thing that she's able to do always?
I have no idea.
What was it? The Trekion trail?
Yeah. So if I can find the actual wording here.
Yeah.
After their little fight. Yeah, so she has the dagger, just like sword dagger. Right. And she's flying with Robin. They go through a time storm, a la Flash, right? And she says everything on Earth leaves a tachyon trail if you know how to look with X-ray vision. And then she's tracking the path of the swords. We can follow swords history. We can follow it back through its entire history, and then go in the. don't know if they've ever done that.
Right. I was like, is this a Supergirl power? Like, can she do this?
I have no idea. It's fun.
No, listen, I'm all for it. But I didn't know that was something that she could do.
I also love that apparently she speaks Chinese. So that's pretty cool because he's like, do you speak language? And she's like, yeah, of course I do. When did you have the time?
Right.
I expected that from Dick Grayson, but not Supergirl. But I'm very happy to know that she has taken the time to learn. Not that it would match that of that time period, but that's okay. We're not here to talk semantics. Ancient Chinese is difficult, you guys.
Oh, I'm sure. But no, I definitely need to know more about what happens on this date because there's definitely some bad blood stemming from it, possibly.
Oh, there's one cover that shows them on the date, but I'm sure they have a background of that. But just to show you guys how cute this is, like they're going back and forth, and it's just very much like, hey, we're being professional. He's like, yeah, I know. So we're not going to talk about it. We're just going to talk about anything professional. And then they kind of get in the back and forth. Right. All I know is there's a monkey. There's some sort of accident. There was a monkey there. She's mad that he wore his costume to the date. And she said she didn't flirt with the server. But there's also a really great line that said, were you raised in a circus?
Yeah.
So cute.
No, they're great together. Like now that I know that there's a potential issue with just the both of them. I'm gonna have to find that right after we get off this.
Oh yeah.
Stream. I want to check that out.
I'm loving all the new Supergirl romances you and I have been exploring these Elseworlds books.
Right.
Because we have Supergirl and Wonder Woman in one book, and now we've got Supergirl and Robin in this one. So
yeah. Hey.
Mark Way says she can. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Hey.
Welcome. So Old Reader, New Reader, technically, at its start, it does not always follow this. It is a review show, a live review show. And so typically, there's an old reader and a new reader. And what that means is there's somebody who's read the book and they're recommending somebody who hasn't read the book and they're talking about it. That's not always the case. Sometimes it's just people. It has become more of a review show. The original, I was new to comics when I started this with Omar and Amanda. And Omar was the old reader, we were the new readers, and they were reading stuff together. They have since left to go do Reels talks and other stuff. And so, sometimes it's me having read a book and telling somebody else about it. And sometimes it's two of us just reading a book we haven't read. No. Yes, you should, Kristen.
Kristen, get on it.
You gotta read it. You gotta read it.
Wait, Kristen doesn't like Superman.
Yeah, but she probably likes.
She's gonna like this.
Yeah, that's so fun.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe Hawk Girl. I only say that because I know Roy has dated her. Apparently, that's the best lay he's ever had, as he said in at least one comic book.
Right.
Oh, he hasn't dated Donna Troy. I'm pretty sure. Anyways, they're just really? Friends. They're just best friends.
Why did I think they have?
Although I wouldn't be surprised if there's some story I've missed, but from my understanding, they are the most platonic between each other, which I'm very thankful for.
I think it's one of those things that you see them on covers together, and they always side by side, so you think something's
best
there.
buds.
Whatever.
And we appreciate that.
Yeah.
Okay. Since we're already in the past, we'll talk about it. But there's this cool point where they're in the past in China and talking to these 4 warriors that had originally sealed Neja, which I just love. I love seeing more Chinese stuff in comic books because of my degree. Right. One of the majors is Chinese history. So I get excited about it. But that was really cool. And I hope that this, like them introducing them, will lead to other things. I know that because of like AAPI month is coming up soon, Asian American Pacific Islander. And so I know there's some like new like Asian characters in DC Comics. And so I don't know if it'll relate to it all, but I'm interested enough in this that it'd be really cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Because we're introduced to these four characters, like
the
warriors.
Yeah,
they're all like elemental.
Right.
With one missing.
Yes.
Because reasons.
Because reasons.
But yeah, it was really neat to see.
Yeah, I I like again, there's serious moments, and then there's moments and just to progress the story. Like, for instance, he was trapped in this tomb that was created, and he created his own kind of magic or spells to get him potentially out of this over, I guess, millennia. And this is how he got out of this tomb. But it's just these little beats that just to progress the story. It's fine. Again, it's just some good superhero fun.
So fun.
Don't take it too serious. But
I love it. It's great.
Yeah.
And he has a good job of hinting at stuff too, because there would be some points I was like, oh wait, we didn't get an answer to that. Right. But I missed something, and I realized no, he's just setting it up for later to give it to us.
Yes.
Okay.
We also we didn't touch on the fact that Batman had said how does he know all of these villains and all of these heroes? And it turned out that he kind of possessed Alfred and was in the Batcave going through the database, the Justice League database, which was a cool final panel of, I believe it was, if it wasn't the first issue, it was the second issue.
Yeah.
It was a very cool final panel to see. Just Neza just over Alfred's shoulder.
If I find it,
and all this stuff.
But yeah, it was so cool because it makes sense because when he comes back, there's a much different situation than his time. Right. And so if he really wants to take over the Earth, he's got to figure out who to take out. And of course, at this point, we have, this whole set of heroes here. So it makes it much more complicated. And I do like at one point because he starts out with the villains. Right. And then he realizes, wait, that's a mistake. I should be doing heroes. And then eventually he does control Superman briefly.
Right.
He's like, wait, why didn't I do this?
Yeah, he's he even says it. He said, I should have possessed Superman all along.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's it goes into these warriors. What were the warriors' names? Warriors I think.
I know their names, but I don't know their.
Yeah, but they kind of talk to Supergirl in terms of what they did in the past to capture him, and it was Supergirl and Robin's job to bring that information back. At the same time, having Doom Patrol find the tomb, the actual tomb that he was imprisoned in. So that's what the heroes are quested with, is finding the tomb, figuring out how to capture this guy because he's super powerful. But then at the same time hitting these fun beats of, Batman and Superman combining into one person.
Oh yeah. Well, and also, I showed the image of Supergirl carrying Robin as they're going through the past. And they also do mirror that as well. With Superman and Batman, just how silly the way that he's carrying him around. I love that. But let's talk about Doom Patrols because I got excited, and so I moved ahead to the fusion.
Yes.
But in the beginning, there is this point where Metallo injects Superman with red kryptonite.
Right.
And it ends up greatly affecting his mind. His body starts to hallucinate, which Batman is able to talk him down, which I did really, because this is focused on their friendship a lot too. And
it does.
He thinks he's Lex Luthor. He thinks there's Zod. He thinks there's all these people here. And he's able to kind of talk him down enough that Doom Patrol is able to help. Right. And what I love is that they call on Doom Patrol because this, Superman's being taken over. He's like, oh my God, he's going to die. He's like, Lois, what do I do? Right. He's like, well, if only you had a doctor that specialized in superhuman, mutations or all these things. And he's like, wait a second, I got a guy. So Doom Patrol shows up.
Yeah, and which was refreshing to me, and Maddie, I touched on it a little bit before the show, was that I've never read anything with Doom Patrol.
Yeah.
The things that I know about Doom Patrol stem from the TV series, and so I was like, great, I get to experience some Doom Patrol now and get to learn about these characters that I was not expecting from the cover of the first issue. I'm looking at it now. They're nowhere to be seen. So it was a pleasant surprise to see them in the first issue.
Oh, it was great. And I do want to show them as well, because it's just great art throughout for that whole team.
Yeah.
You know, it's weird. I wasn't expecting this to be a good Doom Patrol book, but I feel like it's a good Doom Patrol book.
Yeah. It was very cool. It was very cool to see them. Negative Man was able to save the day a little bit by controlling the radiation from the kryptonite and kind of remove. I'm assuming he removed it from Superman's. But yeah, they did the kind of transfusion.
Yeah.
By opening, I also found that interesting that they had just surgery, instruments or tools that were made out of kryptonite,
so they could pierce his body. Cool.
And that whole sequence where Batman is telling the doctor, like, "Oh, you're spying on us," and he has, it turns out, yes, he has all of these tools that are made of kryptonite. Great, we needed that.
Oh yeah, I just flipped to that. I really like that as well. Another funny moments of chat measuring intelligence between Niles and Bats.
Yes,
because they're going back and forth and like talking over each other as they're discussing the knife from Ninja, right?
Yeah.
And Robin's like, "What are they talking about over there?" And Superman just like chill, drinking a coffee. Also, even the great detail work throughout this is so good. You see the smoke from his coffee.
Right.
It's like it's what happens when you put too many with hate not being the smartest guy in the room together in one room.
Mm-hmm.
Very cute.
And that's exactly what I mean about Mark Waid, is that he has these, these very fun comedic moments of just Superman just having coffee and hanging out with Robin.
Oh yeah, and like, when they split up after that with Supergirl and Robin going to the past,
right?
Doom Patrol's searching for the tomb, and Batman and Robin just go to save a kid, but that kid is Billy Batson. Like, okay, very cool.
Yes.
where the villain just took away his mouth so he couldn't speak, because he's like, "I don't know what your deal is, but I know your character is Shazam," and he said not to like I know not to let you speak.
Mm-hmm.
So I've taken away, and they're like, "Hey, just let the kid go." They don't know at this point, which makes it fun.
Right.
But ends up he's being controlled by Ninja. So that Billy at the end, which is great. A lot of like just fun little kind of back and forth throughout here.
And very cool moments with what remind me of the character's name that is trying to do something to Billy. Is it?
Oh, I don't know who it is. I think they probably said the name.
I forgot, but he makes it seem like the world is basically in hell, and then Superman just goes to Batman, like, "Shush, be quiet," and he just recognizes that there is another heartbeat, and so we're really not in hell. We're good. Very
so
fun
good.
moment. Mm-hmm.
Just the back and forth. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
You get images of what's happening to the people, like
Mm-hmm.
The Flash is fighting Mirror Master. Wonder Woman has been turned to clay by Dr. Alchemy. Felix Faust, thank you.
Felix Faust, yep. Yeah, they were even making fun of that. Like, I'm not going to be beat by a guy named Felix. Something like that.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
And you get these lovely moments, like when they get to this too. Oh, sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
So the moment that it drew a little bit on my heartstrings was, yes, this was very much a friendship book.
Yeah.
And that when Superman was going through what he was going through in terms of the kryptonite, and he's basically, Batman even says, like, "I've seen you beat the impossible. You have to beat this." Yeah. And then they show the flashback where he helped out Batman. I was like, this is great. This was fantastic. This is what their relationship is built up on, just being just there for each other, having each other's back. And I think that when I was trying to get back into DC, that was missing a little bit because of this new potential Superman that was around, and you didn't have that relationship. It was amazing. So fun to see it again in this. So yeah, I love that little beat of just, let's go back. It'll be like 2 pages just to show you why I have Superman's back and I'm going to help him out. So,
well, it's so easy to forget when you have these big like event books or even just Justice League books.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've always said that, and I think other people who've written these books have said, like, Justice League feels like work colleagues.
Right.
And then you have the Titans that feel like a family. But then when you take out part of the Justice League, and you get time with individual characters, really like Clark and Bruce, or like Clark and Bruce and Diana, we have the Trinity, and you have actual time to see them interact and be together, you realize how much is there, and how much of that, like, there is a true friendship, like really like platonic love, that's so that is so strong, and it's built on so much respect for one another, that I love seeing, that you don't get to see when you're busy with the big stuff.
Because there's so many characters flying through the panels.
Yeah.
Green Lantern and the Flash, or the Flash and Green Arrow. Like, these characters work together.
Goes to show, because there's a lot of characters in this book, and there's these 5 issues, which, first of all, amazing that we can talk about for this long. You can't say that about a lot of it. And 2, even though there's so many characters in this, it doesn't feel like a lot, and it feels like you're getting a lot of time with everybody. Mark Waid's good at it.
Yeah, each character that was introduced, had a little moment to shine.
Yeah.
Doom Patrol, the characters of Doom Patrol, Robin, they all did.
So I do want to talk about the tomb.
Yes.
So in order to seal Neja in the tomb, what the original 5 actually had to do, the tomb can only close from the inside. So you have to break into the tomb with the seal and then close it from the inside to leave Neja, which means one of your team has to stay.
Right.
And so there's going to be this huge back and forth between everyone. Superman's like, oh, I'm going to be the one to go. Batman's like, no, you're weak to magic. That's stupid. This is after they tried to send him to, what is that called?
The Phantom Zone?
The Phantom Zone. And it didn't work.
It didn't work.
And then Supergirl's like, no, it has to be me, because she's dealt with so much guilt because she's dropped Robin in the time storm. She doesn't know where he is. And she's like, no, it has to be me. Like, I have to do this.
I deserve this. Let me to do this. Yeah.
And of course, during this point, while people aren't paying attention, Moose, what are you doing out there? Superman sneaks his way in there and traps Neja. But before we talk about what that is, like what happens with that, because I think it's really witty, I do want to talk about just how great the whole conversation right then between Supergirl and Batman is, because they have this great back and forth,
right,
where they're upset with each other
because of Robin. Yeah.
Well, because of Robin and because of Clark, because they're both upset, and it's interesting because it's hard to tell exactly what each of them are upset about, kind of, and who they're upset about, which I really enjoy. Where's the part?
And then you could even see it when Superman comes back and she kind of hugs him.
Yeah.
I know. I'm envisioning the panels as you're talking about it.
Yeah, because it's so. I hope they animate those, because I think it'd be so good. This is what the DCEU needs to be.
This would be great as an animated movie.
Right.
Fantastic.
It's so good. But yeah, because after like Superman slipped past him and gets in there, you just see Batman continually just trying to break down the door, and he's like, no, he can't get out. But it doesn't mean we can't get in. He's counting on me. I know he is. And I'm like, oh my God. And he starts to yell at her because she's like, hey, you gotta stop this. You can't get in there. He's like, well, why didn't you? She's like, what? Do what?
Yeah.
Stop and rescue Robin? Don't you think I'm going to be asking myself those questions for the rest of my life? I loved him too. And at this point, I'm like, okay, I don't know if they're talking about Clark. I don't know if they're talking about Dick. I don't know what they're talking about. But either way, they're both like meeting each other at the same vulnerability and sadness. Yeah,
great. That was a great moment.
Oh.
A great dramatic, emotional moment. Yeah.
And then perfectly timed. This book is perfect.
Yeah.
He's like, wait a second. He didn't bring the Phantom Zone projector.
Yeah.
He's like, Clark, you son of a bitch.
Yeah.
And he realizes that Clark made a plan. He pushed Neja in there, took the Phantom Zone projector with him so he could turn on himself, and then just hope that they were going to open up the Phantom Zone to pull him out, and they did. Right. So he's like, I was counting on.
It was definitely a cool chain of events to see that play out, and like sending Negative Man to kind of open the little Phantom Zone rip. That was also the thing. Like they could not beat Neja. How are you saying it, Maggie?
You're doing well. Yeah. You don't have to do the tones. It's fine. Naja is fine. It's Naja, but you're okay.
So they can't figure out a way to beat him because he's just figuring out everything. And it turns out that anything of known origins or things that he knows of, he could adapt to. Anything of Earth, he could figure out, science, whatever. And that's why Clark or Superman goes and decides, well, let's bring some Kryptonian technology and things that he hasn't seen before. And that's how the Phantom Zone projector showed up. So it was an awesome just series of events that led up until that moment. So very good.
And perfect line, because like, Bruce goes over to Clark. He said that was one hell of a gamble. He said, I was depending on Batman to notice something. That's not a gamble, that's a plan.
Right. Even when when he was pulled out and Superman's like hunched down, he's laughing because he's like, what took you so long? Because he knew he was gonna get pulled out. He knew that Batman was gonna save him. So
it's so good.
Mm-hmm. Dan Moore's art. Because he made the smile perfect on Superman. He made it almost like a smirk and like almost a full smile, a full laugh.
Oh, it's just it's so sweet. And then this one ends on a cliffhanger, which is we know that Robin's gone, so they have to go find him. And they say to be continued in Batman versus Robin. And they're World's Finest Teen Titans. I'm very excited about. We're also getting a Tales of Teen Titans, but we can talk about that during the chat and time.
Yeah.
Oh. I'll go ahead and say my rating. I don't care. It's a 10 out of 10, baby. It's a 10 out of 10. My love for comics is back. My love for DC is back. All I needed was Wade and Mora.
Yeah. If DC could do this all the time, I mean, they will have my heart. It was like Marvel had it back in the day. But
it feels like Rebirth. It feels like Rebirth Superman all over again.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah. No, it was great. I loved it. And so much so that I'm gonna go, continue to, because I did go to the 6th issue, so I read that. But I also want to
I'm gonna read all of it after.
I want to read the date issue if that's a thing. I give it a 10 out of 10. I mean, this is a perfect combination of storytelling and artwork.
Yeah.
Fun, dramatic. It's what a superhero book should be.
It's good if we can talk about 5 issues for this long. Because I've done many a show, even longer books than this. I'm like, oh man, it's been like 20 minutes. And I have nothing else to say. And I could still come back here and be like, in this line? Yeah. So good.
No, it's fantastic. It's fantastic. And I just saw Lil Timon. I think World's Finest could be done with just any combo.
Mm-hmm.
Just because there's so many. If anything, if I'm comparing the big two, right? This is me speaking. In my opinion, I think there are stronger friendships within DC than that I don't see replicated in the Marvel universe.
I agree.
And 100%. There is, and it's different combinations of characters. Like we just said, Flash is close with Hal and is close with Oliver. So it's like they could do these group titles easy. And it'll be fantastic to read. So I think they could do it. I don't know what this Teen Titans World's Finest is going to be about.
I think it's just kind of going more like this level of classic Teen Titans together doing stuff.
Okay, cool.
Which we got kind of got a little image of that. Yeah. Okay. I'm excited because my boy's in it. My boy Roy. But also just some more sweet, sweet Donna Troy costumes. Because it's been a while since I made a Donna Troy cosplay. And so let's get it going. But yeah, as far as like duos, I mean, I know that Green Lantern and Green Arrow had a big run back in the day. I would like to see that happen again.
Yep.
And maybe if Joshua Williamson's Green Arrow run does well, came out this week, you guys. I already saw some clips from it. It's everything to me. I won't spoil anybody, even though I desperately want to. I already cried about one page in particular.
Check it out.
Just a couple characters reunite after like 2 decades. No big
Mhm.
deal. No big deal.
Here's another two: Booster Gold and Blue Beetle. Right?
Now that's
Come on now, like
if we talk about platonic best friends,
right.
like the most like platonic soulmates that there are, I think it is Booster and Blue first, and then you have World's Finest. It's our boys at the top.
Yeah. But no, DC knows how to do these friendships well. So
so as far as current Teen Titans run, there's a couple of things that are happening. So yeah, like Kamen Review said that we do get World's Finest Teen Titans. We're also getting Tales of Teen Titans. So they're redoing some of the origins for these. I do know that I think it's Nicholas Scott. It was doing the cover art for a lot of these.
I know Tom Taylor's doing Titans.
Oh yeah, because our Titans are coming back.
Yeah. So,
but my boy's not in it, but I'm still excited.
I mean, it's Tom Taylor.
Well, it's Tom Taylor. I'm excited regardless. But we're getting a lot of Teen Titans stuff coming up.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for Tales of Teen Titans because they're all origin stories, which we've done that kind of before, but I'm always excited to see what origin story people are going to choose for Donna Troy. If you're a Donna Troy fan out there, the amount of Who is Donna Troy books is a lot because you never know. Nobody knows who she is, but yeah, it's a good year to be me. Green Arrow's back, Roy Harper's back, and his 90s suit. His 90s suit is back.
We know you love. I got it.
And we have Titans on Titans on Titans. Donna Troy is everywhere. She's in here. She's in there. She's going to be in Titans.
I mean, I'm loving so far from what I've been reading, with Dawn of DC, it's been very fun.
Yeah.
Artwork has been amazing. Like, you just need to read Superman #1. And it's like, again, I wish I knew the name of the artist offhand because it was fantastic. But I'm excited for a lot of Tom Taylor stuff. Some of these characters, it just feels like I'm just refreshed. I want to read more of like this new kind of reboot of DC and hope it's not what New 52 was and Rebirth. And I know there's a couple of titles within those what do you call it, eras of comics that were great, but as a whole, I want like a full DC experience and I know not every title is going to be a winner, but I'm going to try.
Yeah, well, that's how I felt with the beginning of Rebirth.
Right.
And by the time I guess Rebirth ended, which there wasn't a clear end, it just like became different things. I guess you can kind of tell by how the books themselves were put together when we lost the Rebirth Deluxes, which were beautiful on a shelf.
Yeah, those deluxe editions were
until they ruined it.
They're great now.
Oh, you know what? This actually, thank you, a little timing, because I feel like this ties in pretty well. Do you think DC is looking at a Rebirth Dawn of DC? Rebirths are all pretty great. That's the vibe I'm getting. Because I think there's like there's a rubber band effect a lot of times.
Mm-hmm.
Because with Rebirth, we had this wonderful, hopeful thing. And I think they got to the point where there were some editorial changes, as there are now, where they're like, we need something edgier, though. Mm-hmm. We can't just keep doing this. And so then you have the big, long Dark Knight's Metal, how that affected everything. And the whole like, oh, hey, I know that we said at DC that we weren't going to do any other worlds. We said that was dead with like, oh, God. Anyways, pre New 52 stuff.
Yeah.
We said it was dead with that. They were all dead. Surprise, we changed our mind.
Right.
It's all back again, whatever. Good and bad of that. But I think that's what's happening here. I think it's kind of we're rubber banding back again after we've had these years of very like dark, edgy stuff. Like, and not that it wasn't all bad. Some of it's very good on its own, but it does disrupt the overall flow, right? So Dark Knight's Metal, DC versus Vampires, Deceased, those kind of things.
Yeah.
There's a big, I think DC versus Vampires isn't, anyways, those big edgy things did disrupt the overall flow of the books in a lot of ways. And Heroes in Crisis. Ugh. I think we're coming back to the positive.
I think you're the reason why I haven't read that.
I'm tempted to do. I've never done it. I I just don't think I have. Maybe I did rant about it at one of them, but I am tempted to do another Heroes in Crisis review or do
You want to reread that?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
I'd love to do a live show or like a recorded video of all my like what I have hailed as my villain origin stories in comic books. And also Titans is kind of or Nightwing is kind of a Titans book, yeah.
Yeah, I've seen the Titans on a couple of covers, I think, for Nightwing. So
Maddie cries over the new Green Arrow. Please don't tell me Roy Harper dies again. Issue 1. No, it's positive.
They're happy tears.
Everyone in the Green Arrow family is back. And I mean everyone. Every person. All together. My babies. Just got here. Hi, Maddie. Hi, Joe. Joe, love
Mary.
Too.
Oh, come on.
You guys should get together. You guys live in the same city.
I think I told her we should do lunch and like talk or go book shopping. She should come to Comic-Con.
Get together the same weekend that Kristen is coming to visit me, and then we just like do a big old FaceTime.
Yeah.
That's pretty cute.
Jess is also a Met fan, so the three of us we should go to a Met game.
Hey, I don't understand baseball, but it sounds cool.
Going to a game is fun.
I like watching minor league. I really want to go see the Savannah Bananas. I don't know if you've seen their TikToks on the same tier.
No.
They added dance performances during some of the.
Oh, I think I've seen. They're in yellow uniforms.
Yeah.
Obviously, okay, I've seen this. I've seen that. Yeah.
I want to go so bad.
Yeah.
Heroes in Crisis, the worst book written by Tom King, and I love Tom King. I'm right there with you.
Yeah. See, I don't think I want to read that.
I'm not going to blame him. I blame editorial. But,
oh, really?
Well, because he said, hey, I have this idea for a story.
Right.
But I don't know what characters I want to be in it. And they were like, what if you fuck over the Titans? Because we hate Madeline. I was almost at my whole name. We hate Wonder Maddie in particular. I was about to say my government name on air, you guys.
Or out there.
That's why they did it. Against me. I do have a signed issue of him apologizing to me, though. So,
I mean, I love me some Tom King also.
I do too.
But yeah, I definitely hear horror stories on Heroes in Crisis. So,
I think made Wally a murderer.
I know. I heard
straight up.
That's crazy. That's just crazy to me. But
yeah. So it's pretty much every Tuesday. Sometimes I'll take one Tuesday off a month if I'm busy, or if my mental health is bad. But we are scheduled pretty much for next month. So
what are you talking about next week?
When I said I was pretty much scheduled for next month, what I meant was
I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
Everything is scheduled except for the first week.
All right.
I do know that on the 9th, we're talking about Pluto, the manga by Naoki Urasawa.
Oh, Pluto's amazing. I think Pluto was like one of the first mangas that I read.
It's so good.
And I was
if you feel like rereading or jumping in, you can.
Right,
it's been an open invitation to my friend. Like, have you read Pluto? You want to come out? The 16th, Andrew, who's one of the Nearman Collective, used to do all the videography. He's coming on the show. I don't know what we're reading. I need to pick a sci-fi book for him. So I'm open to any sci-fi recommendations, comic book wise, to give him. I know I've already reviewed Saga, but it's always like Saga seems like, and no Warren Ellis. So see, here's where I'm getting stuck. It's got to be something other than that.
I'm pretty sure we talked about Warren Ellis.
Yeah, and I will not be reviewing anything. And then the 23rd, Omar and Amanda will be here, and we'll be doing a book. I just don't know what.
Okay.
And on the 30th, I'll be in DC, so I can't do a show.
Gotcha.
Because I'll be business Maddie. Catch me in DC, wearing a suit, not looking like this. But if you have any DC comic book recommendations or like shops, tell them. Oh, yay! I have a lot of friends from Argentina. I love Argentina. I'd love to go. I feel like comics have been flooded with Batman titles lately, but the World's Finest Batman Superman is refreshing. It's agree.
Yeah, it was definitely welcomed for sure.
Yeah.
But I'm not, no, like I said, I'm just excited for Dawn of DC right now.
I'm gonna read along with you because
Yeah.
I'm excited.
I think I've purchased everything so far
Yeah.
on my tablet and just ready to just read. And like I said, I'm sure I'm gonna run into some duds, but I'm just excited for that journey. I just want to
Oh,
go on
yeah.
this journey and just experience this whole thing and see where it takes me. So
Well, even the duds are worth it.
yeah,
I feel like when you're excited about a new like
Mhm.
I don't know a new series of books out,
Right,
even the like okay ones, you're like it's fine. I'm just happy to be here,
right.
see what's going on. I'm really excited for the Poison Ivy book because that comes out next month,
Hmm.
and that one's been looking really good.
Yeah, I like Poison Ivy as just as like a character. I just sometimes feel like she's almost too powerful to be a Batman villain.
It's a
Especially,
weird fit, right?
it's just weird. I mean, you now I could only ever see her as a Batman villain, but she's like from what we saw a little bit in Dark Knights of Steel,
Yeah.
like she's a heavy hitter in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
It'll be good to see her in other books in the DC universe. Maybe that has
Yeah.
happened before. Again, I'm a rookie to the DC universe right now, so
I like when she shows up in like Swamp Things around. I like
Mm,
those books.
yeah,
Did you ever read like New 52, Animal Man, or Swamp Thing?
no,
I really recommend that. If you're okay with like horror,
yeah.
okay. I really recommend
Mhm.
Animal Man. New
Isn't that
52.
Lemire and Snyder?
Yeah. It's so good.
And they
I never
intertwine a little bit, right?
Huh?
The stories go between the two a little bit.
There is a little bit of a crossover. It's not overwhelming. I read Animal Man by itself,
Okay.
and then I read Swamp Thing.
Which one should I read first?
Animal Man,
Animal Man. Okay.
because I think it'll get you hooked. Because I never understood the red and the green and all this stuff, and then I read Animal Man, and I was like, "This is incredible."
Okay.
It's creepy. Like there's some like body horror-esque stuff, and then you really get to understand what this whole level of DC I never knew about really. So I knew about the
Right.
green from Swamp Thing, but I didn't know about the green.
Okay.
But you hear about the red and the green and what all this means, and it's very cool.
Yeah, because I didn't. I read something recently that mentioned the red, and I think it was a part of the Dawn of DC. I'm trying to remember, but it had to do with Beast Boy and how he
Yeah.
was tapped into the red, and I was like, "Oh, what is this?" And now
Which
you're
makes more
mentioning it
sense.
here.
Yeah.
Got
Because
it.
the red is all living things. So like
Got it.
animals and people and like creatures and things. Where you have the green, oh man, it's so good.
All right. I'll check it out.
How does this Wade run compare with the Jeff Loeb Superman Batman? I haven't read that. I don't think.
I mean, I think I read that run where they kind of reintroduced Supergirl and Darkseid, but this was like it was like years ago. This to me, if I'm remembering a couple of beats from the Jeff Loeb run.
I think I own this. I don't think I've read it though.
There's like two massive omnis, I think, that came out. I think two. I know it's definitely one. But it had Michael Turner art. I just think that again, and I could be biased because this is fresh in my mind right now. For me, this was more fun than the Loeb run. So, but the artwork was Michael Turner when he jumped on the scene was just incredible as well. But I like me some Dan Mora.
I mean, nothing beats him.
Yeah.
You put some Dan Mora on there, I'll be there. And then they take him away, but not from DC. He gets to write the whole book. He gets to the whole book.
Did you read Once and Future yet?
Yes, I haven't finished it.
Don't tell me because I have to read it.
Well, hey, if you want to read together, I'll read it. You want to come on the show? Do that.
Let's do it.
But just only Dan Mora for a whole year. I just bring up every Dan Mora
done
because I loved it, like what I read of it. But I'm
I have the
Arthurian legend kind of girl.
Yeah, I love that stuff. I love
so.
It. I have the deluxe hardcover, and it's just been sitting on my shelf. I gotta read it.
Yeah, I need to open it.
I think I also have to open it.
Just come back in June.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Oh man, we killed. This has been great.
I didn't even know where that hour went. Flew by.
Man, everyone should read this.
Yeah, get on it.
Batman Superman World's Finest Volume 1. I'll buy every version of this that comes out because I'm obsessed.
I just wish they did deluxe. Like if this was a deluxe version, I would have purchased the hard copy.
Yeah, and I don't know. I can't even I'm so out of the loop now with like DC's like published works, like collected works. I have no idea even. Like
right.
I used to be so on top of it, but
and that's the deal with me now too. It's like I'm trying to keep. I want to be up to date with again the dawn of DC because I've been in this state of FOMO because I've been trade waiting and just waiting for like these story arcs to finish so I could just try to catch up that way. But I was always just feeling like I was behind.
Yeah.
And so now I'm just gonna try to stay up to date with it.
And honestly, that's probably best because that way, not only can you trade wait, but then you can really wait to see what exactly is coming out and how they're being collected. So you can kind of take your time. Yeah, whereas with being like a DC Rebirth person that was collecting, it was good for a time. And then they completely changed the bag and like they put out that ugly. It's not ugly. They just put out that Green Arrow one that didn't match anything else.
I remember
the infamous Green Arrow that ended up being blue.
It was the black spine, right?
No, it was a blue spine.
Blue spine.
But it's supposed to be white, so they inverted the colors.
Right. So weird.
Who okayed it?
It's so weird.
Let me be in charge. Listen, like if you want women to buy your books, you gotta make the spines better. I want my bookshelves to look nice.
Kristen also has some good ideas.
Yeah. Let us. I don't know what I need to do to be a tastemaker of collect editions, but they need to listen to Book Talk, okay? they need to figure it out. Figure out your shit, okay? I want a pretty bookshelf for my comic books. You can be like, welcome to my house. Here's my omnibus of Death, DC, whatever, right? And I like to look how pretty it is with the embossed, spine. And that's what I want.
Or maybe no dust jackets at all, and just
dust jackets.
I kind of like a dust jacket.
I mean, that's fine. You're entitled to your opinion.
Because I like that surprise. You take the dust jacket off, and then there's this whole other piece of artwork.
Yeah, but
I get it.
And they get bent so easily.
I know.
It's too stressful. I just don't love that life. I have this guy hanging out right here because I haven't put it back on the book yet. And why would I?
That's like one of my favorite omnis. No, is that the Fraction one or that?
This is Aaron.
Oh, the Aaron, yeah.
But how much prettier is this?
I mean, but you could also get the dust jacket one that has that.
I don't have that.
I know.
Amanda got that one.
That's one of my favorite omnis of all time.
Oh, so good.
Mm-hmm.
You know what book's good?
Ooh, James has a hot take. Just saying.
Get rid of the ribbons. James, are you trying? What are you gonna write on my tombstone now that you've killed me, James? Keep the dust jacket. Get rid of the ribbons. Blasphemy.
Just give us both. I don't mind.
No. I say that as if I can't take the dust jacket off.
True. I think at some point Jess used to read with the dust jacket on, I think. I mean, that's unheard of, but whatever.
There's just too many problems here. I just think it'd be easier if we don't worry about it. Or give a nice, a nice slipcase, like Swamp Thing.
Yeah. Oh. I love a slipcase. I'm a sucker for a slipcase. Easy.
Hey, Mary.
Whoa.
I cannot believe the blasphemy in my house.
Wow.
Elliot, I'm being attacked. Elliot, also putting this on your desk to read it because you have to.
Elliot, you need to read that book.
You're gonna love it.
You gotta read it.
Elliot reads slower than me. He doesn't always read stuff, but I want him to read this. Ooh, Elliot, when you're invited for any time I review any of the new Titan stuff, Elliot. And Green Arrow. Thank you. I say as if he's not in the other room. I can't just tell him that.
Right, he's probably in the other room.
Yeah, he's gonna read it. Woo.
Perfect.
All right, well, this is fun.
It was a blast, Maddie.
Well,
Thank
go
you.
ahead and look at your schedule for June.
All right, I will.
So we can read Once in Future.
All right, I'll add it. I'll add it to my list of things to read.
Okay.
For sure.
Well, thanks so much, Joe, for hanging out.
Thank you for having me.
Board game soon.
We'll talk some board games.
Yeah.
You let me know.
And chat, I'll be back next week for something. I just don't know what it is yet. I didn't plan that one. I'm playing the rest of them. But hey, that's pretty good. So keep an eye out for that. And I hope you all have a good night.
See you guys.
See you next time.